Would you watch a show where a billionaire CEO has to go an entire month on their lowest paid employee's salary, without access to any other resources than that of the employee? What do you think would happen? They'd be fine. The problem with poverty is not usually day-to-day costs. People can adjust to that. It's unexpected expenses that are crippling. It is a mix. Day to day you can realistically only spend 5 to 10 out of pocket that even a minimum wage worker can deal with. But prorate in the monthly costs, and it gets crazy. In my area, a one-bedroom in a bad area is still $1,200 per month, or about $40 a day. Transit for most people will be at least $5, and that is cost of mass transit to and from work, more if you drive, car, insurance, upkeep, gas. Not having a car is not always an option. On 40 hours at $10 an hour, you are bringing in about $1,200 a month. You lose some of that to taxes, but let's be nice and say you get it all. You already cannot afford a studio apartment, so you need a roommate. So you have to hopefully find someone sane, but that is not a given. So basically, on your own, on a full-time minimum wage job, you basically are eating garbage to just not be hungry. Living with 2 to 3 roommates with the same problems you have, and will have no ability to save enough to ever make a difference. $500 is huge savings over a whole year for you, and that is not life-changing at all. I doubt a month is enough to really feel the effect. And a camera team changes everything. I won't trust doing business with a random nobody, but a guy in suit with a whole production team following him. That's a different story. That's why reality shows are intrinsically just shows. Yep, it would need to be hidden camera and such. Nearly every hidden camera show, probably at least 80 to 90% of them, are not really hidden camera either. You really think the production team can find such good hiding places, with the right camera angles and lighting, and sometimes even moving cameras, for a dozen plus cameras that the people being filmed don't notice them? All of those shows are bullshit. They are ultimately entertainment, and any purported truth is twisted to fit that purpose. You mean The Office isn't real? Hush, of course The Office is real. It would be incredibly self-serving and boring. They would never truly experience what it is like to be in the precarious position of a minimum wage employee living hand to mouth, and the novelty is just salt in the wound. It would be more interesting to see the reverse. Why not both? Or Trading Places, as we called it back in the 80s. Watch Rich House/Poor House on YouTube. The UK already has a show exactly like this. It's not a proper trade when they can see the end in sight after 2 weeks. There was this similar themed show in Hong Kong and mainland China years ago. They swapped billionaire with bottom feeders, let the rich do the basical job, on the lowest salary, to see how far the rich could go by purely their own effort. Nearly all of the billionaire admitted that they could not make anywhere, regardless of how hard they worked. Even working without sleeping and resting could not give you any accumulation to help climb up to the higher level of the society. There was only despair, and admission that the divide between the poor and the rich is already a deep valley, and mere personal effort makes little sense. It stirred big debate among the society back then, and I think that was part of the reasons the show got cancelled. There was also another show in China, swapping senior political figures with community-level council workers, to see how good they could do in each other's posts. The mayors were flooded by the angry mobs who kept asking for more and more benefits that were impossible to fulfill. By the end had to admit the amount of work at basic community level was too much to archive anywhere. The show also got cancelled quite soon after a few episodes. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for future notification. 3 months minimum and I'd watch it. Thanks for the gold. With problem scenarios thrown in. Asterisk broken down car, asterisk tube strike, asterisk dodgy boiler, asterisk sick child. The wheels would come off pretty quickly. Don't forget the pay rent or buy food dilemma scenario. Solved that 1 year ago. Just buy ramen noodles and eat 2 packs of that every day until you're caught back up on rent. I love reality shows, so I'd watch it depending on who produces it. If it's too fake, with too many emotional moments, advertising, and people shouting, I'm out. X Factor singer, I can't sing but my granny died an hour ago and told me to follow my dream. Hosts, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Here we have Elliot. Elliot is a Down syndrome paraplegic who got disfigured when his plane crashed on the way to his dream vacation. He spent the next 4 months in a medically induced coma while the doctors found a replacement for his dick that got torn off. Also, he can sing moderately good. Here he is. Judges. Gimme that golden buzzer. I effing hate that emotional moment bullshit. Kitchen Nightmares and Bar Rescue used to be great, now I can't even watch them. Same with Undercover Boss. This is why I can't watch many car shows anymore. Before commercial. If we don't get this engine to run, we're going to lose the shop. After commercial. After 6 seconds, Tommy found that the coil wire had popped off. We put it back on and the car runs great. Now I just watch the Motor Trend originals like Roadkill, Roadkill Garage, Dirt Every Day, and Faster with Finnegan. They don't do that fake TV drama bullshit. Edit, since a few others have pointed this out, YouTube has some great content. Personally, I enjoy Smoking Tire, Doug DeMuro, Cletus, Rob Pitts, Ed Balian, and a few others. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for future notification. Have you ever watched the British Kitchen Nightmares? He goes in, teaches them how to improve their food, teaches them how to manage a business, then does a bit of advertising. He is a lot meaner to us than the Americans. Most important, the editing isn't the absolute most obnoxious thing imaginable. Intense music and chop cut swoosh noise, chop cut, don't go away because after commercials kitchen gets real. Danger. Explosion. Waiter throws something cooking. Never. More. Emotional. Woman crying, Ramsey. Just. Can't. Shot of Ramsey walking out the door while calling someone a donkey, loud noise, knives on screen, fire in background. Car insurance commercial. It's more than just the money. It's the lack of security these people endure. Not knowing if you'll lose your job tomorrow and having no savings. Being kicked out of your home. An unexpected bill you can't afford, which may lead to increasing debt. Putting these rich people in a poor lifestyle for a month isn't enough. Even if they lost their money and homes, they'll have such a huge network that they'll be back on their feet in the time it takes for us peons to earn enough to eat for a week. They can never truly understand what it's like to be poor or ever face that reality again. So what would happen? It'd be a completely self-serving advert about how now I realize that we need to do more for our employees. The workers get a small vanity bonus, probably give an immigrant worker with limited English a car, pat themselves on the back. Then 2 weeks later, we've all forgotten about the show and they'll go back to their old ways. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for future notification. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend The Act of Killing. It's a documentary following an elderly man who was once a member of an government-sanctioned anti-communist death squad in Indonesia. Now, the commies are defeated, he's celebrated in his own country. There's a scene where they had him do a mock-up of a torture/execution method he had used. He asked production to hold because he found it traumatic. In a very raw moment, he asks the question, is this what my victims were feeling in their last moments? The producer responds, no, what your victims were feeling was much worse, because you were able to ask us to stop, and they knew there was no escape. You can see in a couple of seconds it changes the guy's whole worldview. I would imagine a billionaire who has been rich for most or all of their adult life, equally, would have trouble conceiving of the dread of inescapable poverty. Sure. They would never do that though, because then they would have to admit that they don't pay a living wage. Nah, all they have to do is stick it out for a month and then they can say from personal experience that it isn't that bad. Of course, they never have to deal with the effects in the long term. It's kind of like when privileged college students pretend to be homeless by camping out in the quad for a night. Of course, they never have to deal with the effects in the long term. Yes, this is definitely a problem. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe.